Hey everyone, and welcome to the season 4 finale of LightHearted. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Britton. Have you ever had this moment where you just realized, man, this is not how I thought things would look? Not just small things, like actual big things. Plans you were sure about, timelines you absolutely trusted, outcomes you 1000% believed were going to happen, and suddenly they don't. And then you just realize you're left with something that you didn't really choose.
Mm-hmm. Today we're talking about exactly that, when things don't go as planned. Okay, it's no secret that we love plans because they give us a sense of control. They make us feel safe, like if we do everything right, life will follow that script. But the reality is, life isn't linear. There's something called the illusion of control. We tend to overestimate how much influence we actually have on the outcome.
I think, number one, that's so true.
Yeah.
Number two, that's a really hard truth.
Yeah.
I think it's such a hard truth because it means that we can do everything, quote unquote, right.
Yeah.
And still end up somewhere completely unexpected. And I think that's really hard.
It's really scary.
And when that happens, it can feel like failure, even when it's really not failure, but it totally feels like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Rachel. What's something in your life that did not go according to plan?
Wow. I think it'd be easier to tell you what did.
Like what fell into line exactly?
Oh my gosh, so many things. Number 1, season 4 of LightHearted. We'll talk more about that in our vlog coming out next week.
Check out the vlog.
But holy cow. I mean, overall, just like the whole quote unquote plan of my life didn't go the way I thought. So everything.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything.
Yeah. When you were like, oh, it would be easier to tell you what did. I'm like, yeah. That's, yep. Mm-hmm. Like it's a much shorter list. We'd be here for a lot less time. Okay, so the changes that did come kind of unexpectedly for you.
Yeah.
Like, did you see them coming or were you completely blindsided by most of them?
I would say for most of them, I was blindsided.
Yeah.
Because you're not expecting it. So it's a little crazy.
Yeah. Especially
when, like, for instance, if we're talking about the podcast, especially when the first 3 seasons
went
so smoothly. There would be a couple times here and there that we'd have an audio or video issue, but
it was usually an easy fix.
Very easy, but this whole season has been a hot mess. So, yeah, it's so because we went into it with such high expectations of how things have gone, it was like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Very blindsiding.
Yeah, totally. Would you mind just sharing like you've shared in the past other plans that you've had for your life that didn't work out?
Yeah.
And how your life looks different now than you thought it would?
Yeah. In all this, the statement I keep hearing is you make plans and you hear God laugh. Because I just feel like, what the heck?
That's so true.
What the heck? We plan so much of our lives and it just does not work out. I've talked a bunch about, me wanting to be married young, me wanting to have kids. And it's really funny. I was talking to my sister-in-law literally yesterday about this because it's just insane how things happen for us. We sat down and had conversations at 15 years old. At that time, we were just best friends. And she was like, I want to travel the world. I never want to buy a home, let alone in this state. I want to get married, but way down the line, I don't even know if I want to have kids. And I was like, girl, you're crazy. I want to get married at 18. I want to start a family young. I want to have 10 kids. I want to live on a farm. And what happened? Here I am, 24 years old, traveling a bunch, single, and she is married with a baby, has a small business, owns a home. It's just so
you guys
funny.
Just completely flip-flopped.
We did, and it's just God was like,
he's like, let me tell you something.
Let me tell you what's going to happen. It's so funny how things work out. But even now, I have days where I'm still sad about it. It's just that's what I wanted so bad. But when things don't go as planned, you can still be sad that they didn't go the way you hoped or the way you wanted. But at the end of the day, a lot of times it is better. And I can say now, I'm so grateful to be where I'm at,
Yeah.
but I can still be sad.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah, it would be insane if you didn't feel both of those things.
right.
Yeah. Yeah. Mine's like very similar to that though. Like where it's just like, man, I wish I had 5 kids.
Yeah.
Like, cause I think I actually care enough to have 5 kids, you know, and like I would do a good job with that. But that just feels like such a downer thing to say, to be like, and there's nothing I can do about that right now.
Well, it might be kind of like, I mean, it's vulnerable, but like to talk about, because like I'm talking from a perspective of my plans didn't work out, but like, look what is working out, where you're kind of still in limbo. You're kind of still in like,
yeah, it's like,
you don't have the resolution yet. Like you're not.
yeah. And I feel, okay, I guess, yeah, we're going to get into this. I feel like there are no like babies that I would regret, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just kind of like, yeah, I'm like, I'm not on the other side of it yet where I can be like, man, thank goodness we only had 1 kid. And like,
Right.
if that's what we end up with, like, we're going to have so much fun. And like,
Right.
we're going to be so grateful
Yeah.
to have had so much time with our 1 kid.
Right.
So like, I don't want to get that twisted at all. Like if he's the one we have, like, I'm so happy about it. But like, kind of looking forward, I'm not like, oh man, if we have a 2nd kid, if we have a 3rd kid, is that just going to wreck our lives? Like,
Right.
is that going to ruin everything for us that like we could have had? And like, I know that that won't be true. So I'm just kind of like, come on, it's such a good thing. Yeah. But
Because that's kind of how I felt. I feel like a much smaller scale, what you're dealing with is like really difficult and
yeah,
challenging to navigate. But I feel like, in that season where before I'm doing what I'm doing now, but I still wasn't where I thought I would be. That was the hardest.
yeah.
Like,
It's like, what am I supposed to do?
what am I
then?
doing? Like, am I just failing at life?
It feels like failure.
It feels like failure.
You are so right.
Because you're in the waiting period, and waiting sucks.
It does suck.
Like,
Yeah.
it's terrible.
It does suck.
It's not fun.
I'm sick of it. You just like really shed some light on some of my feelings, I think. And I really appreciate that.
Yeah, because it's valid.
Yeah.
Especially when you're not seeing any benefit from where you're at. You're not
Yes.
seeing the benefit.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so I'm thinking about like couples that I have known in the past that tried to have a baby, and then their marriage fell apart
Yeah.
for whatever reason, or something really devastating happened. And I hate saying it, but like, it's a good thing they didn't have a baby, because
Totally.
look at, where they would be now if, it's never a bad thing for a child to be in the world, but like split
that was a really
custody when something
complicated-
really nasty
Yeah.
happens, or you know what I mean? And so it's like, well, look at how God protected, and I had to wait, and now I'm with the right person and have a child. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
totally.
And so,
Yeah. Like things happen for reasons.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's just weird
that
to
waiting period.
Yeah, it's the waiting period. And then like once you get on the other side, and that's been true at every single like crossroad in my entire life.
Right.
Is like once I'm on the other side finally, I'm like,
Oh,
duh, of course. That totally makes sense now.
we needed to wait for this to happen or that to happen. Or
100%. Yeah. And so
Yeah.
I think you're right, where it's just like, I'm just waiting right now. And like, I hate it. I think it's stupid.
Yeah. It makes me think of 2 parents that have adopted. I love the Lamberts so much. I don't know if you've seen them, Dallin and Bella.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
And they
So
had their
struggled-
second baby.
Yeah, but they struggled so long with infertility, and like it still sucked, and
Yeah.
it was horrible. But now they have their beautiful daughters because they struggled with infertility for so long.
Yeah.
And then adoption opened up, and they did that, and so
It's like
now they
everything
can look back
happens.
and go, well,
I
that
love that.
sucked. I hated it, but it got us the kids we have
Totally.
and led us down this path.
Yeah.
So-
I like that. That's a good perspective to have, I think, for like all changes happening. That's really good.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
it's still valid to feel
No, I think
devastated in the moment.
you're very wise though, and I appreciate that. I like this perspective. Okay, so we kind of mentioned like the grief though, because
Yeah.
I think that's definitely something that's hidden. I know for me it's very hidden. Like if you just saw me normally, you wouldn't know. Like
Right.
if you saw you normally, like you probably wouldn't know. Like there's that hidden grief. So we do not talk enough about the grief of things not going as planned, because you're not just losing the outcome. Like you are losing an entire version of your life that you imagined for yourself. So sometimes you feel disappointed, but also you feel guilty for feeling disappointed.
Yeah.
And that's confusing too.
I think that's so real. Like, I should be grateful, but I'm still hurting. And both can exist at the same time. I know we've talked about this before. It's very confusing and it's really hard to grasp that because we constantly are just like, no, but like I feel this way, so I have to feel that way. And that's not the case.
Yeah. Or it's like, I have a good life, so I can't complain about this, or I have this thing, so
right.
Can't
but like
do that.
you can
Yeah.
feel more than one thing at once. And most of the time, almost 99% of the time, you are.
yeah. I think we talked about like protector emotions even. So it's like, okay, like you're feeling grief. Okay, you're actually feeling disappointed. You're actually feeling this. You're actually feeling like
you're stacking them on top of each
and
other.
it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, I really like that.
So, what emotions show up for you when your plans fall apart? When it doesn't happen the way you thought?
Okay, well, little known fact, Rachel and I both like control. So I feel disappointed that it didn't go my way. Like it's like that like lack of control. I'm kind of like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Like that's not how it's supposed to be. So then I think I feel kind of angry.
Yeah.
But I think my anger is almost always covering like sadness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know we've talked about that before. It's like we're hiding the sadness with anger.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
Yeah, that's kind of sad.
Yeah. So I think when plans don't work out, I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, that makes me angry. And then I'm like, oh, I'm really sad that didn't work out. Yeah. What about you?
Well, I feel like I'm the same way, but also I feel like, okay, so being people that like to be in control or being the very headstrong type A leaders, it's so...
Couldn't be us.
Couldn't be us, not us. It's so hard because I think I put all of that pressure and that blame on myself. So when the plan doesn't work out, I'm not usually, for the most part, looking around and being like, well, you messed this up and you messed this up and God didn't let my thing go the way I wanted. I'm looking at myself and I'm going, you should have tried harder. You should have done better. Look at where you're at. It's all your fault. Like,
That's so
because you didn't try.
hard.
You know, for instance, like when I wanted to get married young, by like 20 years old, I was looking, well, you should have been going out more. You should have done this. You know, all these things. You should have worked harder as a teenager to gain like closer relationship with boys and maybe you would be farther along. And it's like a lot of blame went on myself.
That's a tough spot to be in.
It is, especially when that's not the plan that's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's like you didn't do those things because you weren't supposed to do those things.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's
That's
hard.
really hard though to look back and be like, no, there were reasonable steps I could have taken and I like for some reason didn't take them. Like that sounds like such a confusing place to be in.
But if I would have taken them, I probably just would have ended up with more hurt and grief because I'm not supposed to be married right now.
Yeah, so you were saved from hurt.
From maybe a bunch of horrible relationships or
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. 100%.
Or a failed marriage. Like,
Absolutely.
so
That's crazy to think about.
yeah.
Man, that's crazy. Okay, so I am curious because I know how I feel about this, but when you start getting those feelings of like here's everything that I failed at, or like I'm feeling really angry or sad or disappointed, do you usually sit with your emotions? Do you save them for later? Do you like let them pile up? Like what's kind of your go-to?
Oh, I let them pile up. I like try to ignore until I explode.
You're like, everything's fine.
If I look at the trajectory of my life every time, it's like, oh, this bad thing's happening. Oh, this is going wrong. I don't know what I'm doing. And I pile it up. Let's just pretend I'm okay. Let's keep going. Let's distract myself. And then I explode. And that's happened more times than I can count.
You're so human.
I'm so human. But it's
so
like,
human.
if I would have just dealt with these, it would have been fine.
Yeah.
But
It's funny though, too, that like every single time we go through that process, we're like, next time if I just like catch it a little earlier, it'll be
but we
okay.
do it
I'll just
again.
handle it. And then
You know
we
what's-
never do that.
And you know what's funny is like, I know. Like I'll be going through the motions and I know it's piling up, but I just don't want to face the reality of it. So I just keep ignoring it. And I consciously know that it's gonna explode at some point, but I'm just like, but maybe this time it won't.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's interesting too, Because, okay, I feel like sometimes I won't deal with things until I'm forced to deal with them. Because I'm a procrastinator also.
Yep.
And so then it's almost like, it's like life is forcing you to deal with this issue finally.
Yep.
Which is so funny.
So I think when things don't go as planned, most people fall into one of a few patterns. Like one, like we just said, they try and control everything more. The next one is they shut down or withdraw. And by they, we mean we, all of us.
We mean us.
All of us here. The next one is rush into new plans to avoid feeling uncomfortable. So real. Oh my gosh, that's so real.
Like we're just laughing at
That's
all
why
of these because they land so
all the time.
I do think it's funny every single time you're like going through kind of a tough spell. Like the next time I see you, you're like, so I'm going on a trip.
It's because it's the one thing I can control. Okay, I'm good at planning a vacation.
You are phenomenal at planning vacations. You're phenomenal at a great number of things, but I would say planning vacations is like on the top of the list.
You want to know why the pandemic sucked so much? My one escape was taken from me.
You couldn't go anywhere. Okay, so which one of those do you fall into?
All of them. All
Same.
of them. But the last one is slowly learn to adapt.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
I think we all do all of these
I agree.
at different times. Yeah. Okay, we do want to say none of these are technically wrong.
No.
They are like ways to cope. They are not wrong. They're just human beings being humans because that's what we do best. But the response that we choose out of those things really shapes what happens next for our lives. Mm-hmm. What is your default reaction when things go off track? It's
Panic.
Like, panic? Then what?
I try and get control back. You know, it's like I'm trying everything I can to get it back on track when in reality it's trying to take a different route.
Yeah.
So then I end up in the middle of nowhere. I'm on neither path.
What a fun place
What a fun place to be.
Like, I love it so much. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I think mine's to like, sometimes I'm good at taking a second, but then like I immediately jump into fix it mode. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Where I'm like, okay, I'm like, what control do I have here? And then I'm like, okay, like now I have to do this. It's very rare that I slowly learn to adapt. I will say that one doesn't happen quite as often. I'm not very slow to do it. Mm-mm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We talked with Emily about creating chaos in life.
Yeah.
Like when you're feeling a little too comfortable. Mm-hmm. And I think I fall more into that where it's like, okay, let's rush into a new plan.
Yeah. No, that's real.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's so many moments in my adult life that I've been like, let's go to medical school or let's, I don't know, move. I don't, like, it's just like overnight that I make all these plans. I'm looking at apartments or I'm looking at job offers and I rush into things and then the next day I go, what in the crap?
You're like, okay, nighttime, Rachel. You just need to.
You need to simmer down.
That's funny.
And there's nothing wrong with like making big plans or
dreaming.
But
No.
like when you're trying to avoid something else,
Yes.
it's not gonna go well. So
Yeah, I think that's a really fair point is like, am I using it as avoidance or am I using it as like progression in life? Because that's so different.
Yep. Sure
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. I think I use it more for avoidance of whatever. Where it's like, well, if I'm working on this project, then I can't do that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I think this is where things can really get good because eventually you realize the situation might not be what you planned, but you still get to decide who you become through that.
Absolutely. And we know that people develop the most resilience, not from easy seasons, but from navigating uncertainty and adversity. So strength does not come from everything just going right all the time and being perfect. It typically comes from continuing on when things are not perfect and when things are really hard. My dear sweet friend Rachel and podcast co-host,
To ask me, oh gosh,
who did you become in your life journey because things didn't go your way?
oh gosh. Well, I'm not saying getting married young is bad. I'm not, because it works out for so many people and I'm like happy about that. But I feel like for me, like I got to become myself. Like if I would have gotten the life I wanted, I don't think I would have grown in the way that I have. I don't think that I would have, I don't know, I'm just me and I love me. but I've gotten to do some really cool things, and like none of that would happen. I shouldn't say wouldn't, but would be much more difficult if I was where I wanted to be.
Yeah. I think just in the time that I've known you too, like you are a braver version of yourself. And like you have so many new skills that you probably wouldn't have had.
No.
Yeah.
It's so funny because every few years I'll look back and I'll go, whoa, like I'm so different and I love who I am now. And then it happens again and again and again.
Yeah.
And it's so cool because, I don't know, after the pandemic, I'd say like 2023-ish, I was looking back and I was like, wow, like look at how much I've grown. And now we're in 2026 and I look back at the last year and a half, 2 years, wildly different. And like there's a lot of contributing factors into that, but like this podcast for one has like grown me in ways I did not expect. Like not just learning like how to do it, like
it was just pushing through the struggle,
the logistics of doing it, but being able to have deep conversations, learning to be vulnerable. I'm learning so much. Like
same. I love it.
Because when you're talking about these topics, you have to dive into these topics. And like I was never one to love listening to my own voice, but now sometimes I'll go back to old episodes and I'll listen to it and I'm like, holy crap, like that's good freaking advice. Like, I don't know, it's just good stuff. So I've learned a lot.
I agree.
And I love it.
I love it. I love, on the topic of our podcast, I love when we, like, one of us will say that, like, we re-listen to it and it's like, man, we sounded really good. And it just feels so good to...
And that's not like
that.
Me bragging on like how good we are at filming or
and
how
no,
good
like we
sound.
just have really solid stuff to say.
But I'll get lost in the episode and forget
Same.
I'm listening to us.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, that's good information.
You're like, write that down.
Write it down. I want a journal to
like,
my
if
own
only
podcast.
we had that listed somewhere. I love it.
And like we've talked a lot about, obviously with doing a podcast, like you want to grow, you want to get followers, not just to have followers, but to reach people.
Yes.
To have a fun platform.
To share the good things.
That was the goal. And I honestly didn't walk into it with big expectations, I don't think.
No, I don't think either of us did.
But we do put in a lot
talk.
of work. And no, it's not as huge as we hope. But at the end of the day, like I've said this to you a million times, if all that comes out of this is the growth that the two of us have experienced, like it's worth it to me.
1,000,000,000%. I cannot agree with that more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, and it's more than that because I know that it has helped other people.
Yeah.
Like we've heard that. And even if it's only a few, like I'm just...
Yeah. I do just want to kind of throw that in there. Like we love getting those messages that something really hit home with you. So please don't be scared to send those to us because it just really... Like it like hits us right in the heart. It feels so good.
It's encouraging to like keep going, keep trying when things are kind of difficult.
Yeah.
And usually
totally.
those come when things are kind of difficult and we're like, we don't want to do this anymore. So
yeah. And then we'll get a message and then we're like, oh, that's why we started. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So proud of you.
So proud of you. Thanks for being my partner in this.
Thanks for being my partner in this.
Okay, so one of the most powerful things that we can do for ourselves is learn to rewrite the meaning of what happened. That doesn't mean pretending that it wasn't hard. It's choosing to see it differently. I've heard this saying, and I'm probably going to quote it wrong, but essentially it's what you see is determined by where you're standing.
Ooh, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
That's really good.
I've heard that like a couple times within the last week. Just like what you're seeing, where are you standing? Like how are you looking at it?
I love that. So I think to go with that, instead of saying things like, this ruined everything, this moment completely derailed my life, what if it's something more along the lines of, this redirected me to where I'm supposed to be. I might just not see it yet.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm looking in the wrong spot. So if you're sitting at home listening right now, here are a few questions that you can sit with. What didn't go as planned in your life?
And what part of that are you still holding on to?
What might this season be teaching you?
And who are you becoming through this?
Such a good one.
Again, it's hard to see the positive, especially like if you're like Britton and you're in the season of waiting and you really don't see the benefit of where you're standing.
Yeah.
It is hard, and it's okay to feel sad and have hard days, but it's also okay to push yourself and to try looking at it from a different perspective. So give yourself permission to not have all the answers yet. Sometimes the most meaningful parts of our lives truly come from the plans that didn't work out. Thank you so much for joining us today for the final episode of season 4. We love doing this show, and we're so thankful that you're here with us. If you're enjoying LightHearted, which if you're here, we're assuming you do, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. It really helps us reach more people who need a little more light in their lives. Also, be sure to download each episode of the podcast wherever you're listening. That also really, really helps our show.
It helps so much more than we ever even understood. Yeah. So please do that. And be sure to follow us over on Instagram and TikTok at LightHeartedPod for behind the scenes content and clips of our episodes. Also be sure to check out our merch. Every single thing that we talked about will be listed below in the show notes.
And don't forget to tune in next week on YouTube for our season 4 vlog, where we kind of deep dive a little more into how things did not go as planned this season.
If you want to see us cry.
Yeah, for real.
Go watch that.
Actually. Thanks for joining us. Stay lighthearted. Oh my gosh.
Season 4 is done.
We made it.
Which feels sad. We talked about this a little bit, but like it feels kind of sad because we both kind of said starting out that if we made it to 5 seasons, we would feel really good about it.
Yeah. So we're kind of like inching up on
like
possibly.
Like possible ending, and that's really sad.
Yeah.
But also so cool that we're like achieving what we wanted to achieve.
If I'm going to be honest, like it's so cool stuff like this because it lives forever even if you quit. Like
that's
it's still
true.
there.
Like people will still find it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
And I just feel like even if we like choose to not keep going, like after 5 seasons, if we like don't do a season 6 and keep going in the way we're currently going, I feel like we'll still here and there do some special stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's just not going to be as...
I mean, even if we just film lights out, I'll be okay.
I'll be just fine.
We could make like a hybrid where it's like we do lights out, but we talk about deep stuff while doing very low key stuff.
Yeah. We don't know what the future holds
so
for that,
fun.
but it's going to be interesting.